interwebkaiju here. I just poked myself in the apple. This is a Life Godzilla issue. This is Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019. So this is just gonna be filled with spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, it's good. Go check it out. And if you have seen the movie, just keep watching, I guess.
Godzilla King of the Monsters is the sequel to the 2014 Legendary Pictures Godzilla movie. It sees Titans, which is what the movie is calling their kaiju, coming out of hibernation and just destroying stuff mainly. Rodan's introduction scene is phenomenal, his design is good, there's some great aerial flying shots, the fight with the jets. First off, the movie has plenty of really good air combat, maybe the best I've seen, especially in a monster movie, but I admittedly don't watch a lot of movies about jet fighters. Mothra hatching from her cocoon is also one of my favorite parts of the movie. First off, it's just beautiful visually, and the altered classic song fits so fantastically, real fast. I wasn't a fan of Mothra's new design when it was revealed before the theatrical release, but in the movie, it looks great. It fits, no complaints from me. Also, giving her a stinger works well, both visually and for the fight. Larva Mothra's design was still a bit odd in the movie, but I warmed up to it even in the super short time it was on screen. The music is so good. First off, the classic songs pulled perfectly at my nostalgia strings, but they were altered enough so that they fit, for the most part, in this movie. And the non-classic songs are brought to life with wonderful, ominous tones, both quick and drawn-out strings that match scenes with T. It reminded me a lot of, like, the more serious John Williams Star Wars tunes. Even outside of the jet fights, the military is done very well. In the 2014 movie, a lot of people complained that there was too much military scenes, and I don't know if they've just never seen a kaiju movie or if they just felt like it was propaganda. Regardless, I think King of the Monsters 2019 does a great job with their military. Monarch and antagonist soldiers, as well as US military, are shown pretty much all throughout the film, but they never seem like they're more important than the protagonist or pushed in your face. Like all the new powers, Godzilla's pulsating warnings, Ghidorah's lightning frenzy, adult Mothra's web. That one is so obvious, but still got me hyped. Oh, and Ghidorah's weather alternating presence was good both in terms of visually representing his power, and is sort of a cue that he's about to show up and wreak havoc. Also, very glad they kept his origin extraterrestrial. That regen scene was top notch, not just that he did it, but also how it was executed. It's eerie, yet seems like the best way to regenerate quickly in a scene. In a couple parts, the camera is on a 360 swivel, and it always works way better than I'd expect it to, especially in the climax. It's also used there as sort of a segue. Instead of cutting scenes between 3 different narratives happening at the same time, the movie so wisely only cuts to 2, having 2 of them connected. It'll go to one and then just swivel over to what would have been a third cut. This might not make any sense to you, but it does to me, and I really love its inclusion. So smart, so well executed. With the 2014 Godzilla, I really liked it the first time I saw it and then wasn't really into it when I tried to rewatch. Thankfully, King of the Monsters 2019 is actually better on repeat viewings, to me anyways. The fights still take place primarily in rain and clouds, but everything was bright and clear enough to see all the movements clearly and appreciate the choreography. The fights are thought out, which is fantastic, and the fact that some big action movies don't take the time to choreograph their fights blows my mind. So, there are a lot of callbacks to mainly the Showa films. Monster Zero was very welcome yet not in your face, same with the Mothra twins. I feel like they even have Infinite Island as where one of their former generation's photos was taken. The oxygen destroyer wasn't needed, though I did like how the actual bomb had the original design or something very similar to it inside. I mean, Godzilla could have been heavily injured by any weapon, or just by Ghidorah. They could have pulled a Showa GAMERA movie on us, but there are some positives to its inclusion. It sets the stage for Serizawa's sacrifice, which could have been there without the auction of Destroyer, but it gives the scene kind of a reversal of the scene at the end of 1954. But it just seems like such a minor part for a weapon that very well could have been a major plot point in a different movie. The script is mostly good, and it does a great job pushing the story through a quick pace while still establishing many characters, even giving the viewer emotional attachment. I'm sure it helps that all the actors give very good performances. Serizawa is the best character here, glad he got a much bigger role than in 2014. I really like Dr. Graham, yet she's not really shown much. Rick seems like he could have been ripped straight out of the 1998 movie, but I actually really liked him, and Chen, really liked her as well. The actress who played Maddie is great, probably both the best actor in this movie, and probably the best child actor I've seen in the kaiju flick. Sure, she's older than the common Kenny, but there's no way I'm going to hold that against her. And the script seems to perfectly fit both her and the character. There are no characters that I particularly disliked other than the people at the hearing in the beginning. Sam and Colonel Foster I found kind of annoying the first time around, but on other viewings they were fine. The main family is good. Mark, his voice in the first act seemed unnatural and forced. It changes to a more natural one in the middle, but at the end he seems very unemotional and almost calm in scenes where he is actively yelling and arguing. Still, I'll take him over Ford any day. The movie is full of cliches. I'll give the movie this. The "You're a Monster" line that was already shown in most of the promotional trailers and used in so much other media worked very well, so kudos to the actors, editors, and sound team that put that scene together. The "There's bigger things than us" type line was better in Spider-Man. Oh my god, Zilla, as if no one has heard that one before. People shooting at things they don't want to irritate and have been told not to shoot at, even though they should know they aren't going to hurt it. Painful. There's comedy sprinkled throughout. It usually seems out of place, but it did make me laugh a couple times. Why didn't Godzilla blow up? I'm no scientist, but they said he was going to blow up like an A-bomb. Did his shockwaves expel enough energy to make him stable? Can his body just survive the force of an A-bomb blowing up from inside? The camera does a lot of sure to be artificial bobbing. I don't like it. And you can tell it's not on accident because almost all the other aspects of the camera work in this movie are perfect. Pans, zooms, focus shifts, all great. Bobbing camera, annoying. The movie likes to chant when Godzilla shows up. Not the on-screen characters chanting, but just audio. It's part of the score. Seems out of place, and it's done multiple times, sadly not feeling less weird after happening over and over. Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah aren't the only monsters, but the others are pretty bland. First off, they don't really do anything on screen. Secondly, their designs go from okay, the Spidey boy, to boring, the mammoth monkey. The best one is the Muto, which is just recycled or altered just slightly, so I didn't even notice. I don't know why the characters have to explain things to each other constantly as if they're all in a power struggle. And I get that someone could possibly know more than someone else and need to correct and explain specifics, but it's as if everyone in this movie other than the protagonists are extremely ignorant about what they should be experts at. It's their field of expertise, and since the stakes are monstrous, you'd think the foremost authority would be at the helm of every aspect. Some characters just do this once, but Mark does it throughout the movie. Very bothersome. The whole king and queen thing is overdone. Sure, King of the Monsters is a hell of a title, especially for audiences in 1965, but now the title is just going to confuse the two films. Outside the title, the movie mentions the Titans as being the first kings, Ghidorah being a false king. All very fine to me, but constantly referring to them as king and queen was bad, repeatedly saying long live the king was worse, and the whole bowing scene at the end was actually kind of cringe-inducing, to be honest. Godzilla's face seems weird to me. Maybe too human-like, and that snap zoom made it so much worse. Why? I overly shielded myself from reviews and Godzilla pages until I had made my way to the theater multiple times, but this made it through. A tweet from a person who used to be on an online show I liked, that I've never even heard mention Godzilla before, but they even felt the need to address it. It's bad. But if that's my biggest gripe with King of the Monsters 2019, then I'd say that's shining some pretty good light on it.
So that was Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019, not the 50s one. I don't like that they have that title. We already have so many movies just called Godzilla to differentiate from each other. We didn't need two King of the Monsters. But anyways, that was that. If you have any movies, TV shows you would like me to review, leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.